Have you ever discovered something that changed your life and never imagined it would happen? Our story today revolves around a 32-year-old man who, overnight, becomes the father of a 15-year-old daughter he didn't even know existed. With the mother behind bars on drug charges, this unexpected turn of events brings a world of challenges, adjustments, and emotional moments that redefine what it means to be a family. Imagine the pain and uncertainty of suddenly having to care for a child who has been through more than most adults. How do you rebuild trust and create a sense of home for someone who has never had one? Join us as we explore this heartfelt journey of resilience, love, and the unbreakable bond between father and daughter. It's a story that will make you reflect on the power of family and the incredible strength of the human spirit. So, here's the scoop. I'm a 32-year-old guy who just found out I have a 15-year-old daughter, Sarah. Last Friday, she moved in with me because her mom got arrested on a bunch of drug charges. To say it's been an adjustment is an understatement for both of us. From the get-go, I told Sarah that this is all new for both of us and that it's going to take time to get used to it. I can tell she's been through a lot. She's really underweight and not used to regular meals. To help her feel more secure, I put a snack bin in her room so she doesn't feel the need to hide food anymore. I told her she could grab food from the kitchen whenever she wanted, but that seemed to overwhelm her. So, snack bin it is. I've also started having breakfast and dinner at consistent times, lunch on weekends, so she knows meals are coming. Sarah has nightmares and often wakes up screaming. She hasn't shared what they're about yet, and I don't expect her to, but it's clear she's been through something traumatic. I'm working on finding a therapist for her. On the brighter side, we're starting to get to know each other. Turns out, she loves my dogs, and we took them on a walk together. She's really smart, loves to read, and is into basketball. I've shared some things about myself too. She's pretty quiet and reserved, which makes sense since I'm basically a stranger to her. But considering everything, things aren't too bad. We're making it work, one day at a time. And you know what? For a situation that started with so much chaos, I'm hopeful. We're figuring it out together. The first night she stayed with me was a real eye-opener. We had just finished dinner, simple spaghetti and meatballs, when she started picking at her plate, pushing the food around more than actually eating it. I noticed but didn't want to make a big deal out of it. After all, she probably never had a normal dinner routine before. Later, as I was cleaning up, I saw her quietly slip a piece of bread into her pocket. My heart broke a little. That's when I decided to set up the snack bin. I filled it with granola bars, fruit snacks, and other non-perishable items. "Hey Sarah," I said, knocking gently on her bedroom door, "I've put a snack bin in your room. You can have these whenever you want, okay?" She looked at me with those wide, wary eyes and just nodded. Small steps, I reminded myself. Small steps. The nights were hard. Sarah's nightmares started around midnight. I'd hear her thrashing, sometimes screaming out in fear. I'd rush to her room, but by the time I got there, she'd be sitting up, eyes wide, breath heavy, but clearly not ready to talk about it. I would sit by her bed, sometimes holding her hand until she calmed down enough to lie back down. Sleep came slowly for both of us. During the day, I tried to make things as normal as possible. We set up a routine. Breakfast at 8 a.m. sharp, usually something easy like cereal or toast, and then I'd head off to work. I was lucky my boss understood the situation and let me work from home a few days a week. I wanted to be there as much as I could, just in case she needed me. In the afternoons, after school, we'd spend time together. I introduced her to the local library. Sarah's eyes lit up when she saw the rows and rows of books. It was the first time I saw her genuinely smile. She picked out a stack of books, and we spent a couple of hours just sitting there, reading. It felt like a small victory. One day, I came home to find her in the backyard, playing basketball. I had an old hoop set up that I hadn't used in years. She was pretty good, dribbling and shooting with a focus that was impressive. I joined her, and we played a few rounds of horse. She beat me every time, and for the first time, I heard her laugh. It was a sound I'd remember forever. Therapy was another challenge. Finding a good therapist wasn't easy, but eventually we found Dr. Thompson. He specialized in working with teens who had been through trauma. The first few sessions were rough. Sarah barely spoke, but gradually, she started to open up, little by little. Dr. Thompson assured me it would take time, but he was optimistic about her progress. Weekends were for bonding. We'd take the dogs for long walks, exploring the nearby trails. I'd tell her stories from my own childhood. Funny ones, embarrassing ones, anything to get her to see that I wasn't just some stranger, but someone who cared. She listened more than she talked, but that was okay. Listening was a start. One Saturday, we decided to have a movie marathon. Sarah picked out a bunch of her favorites, mostly animated films and some classic comedies. We made popcorn, built a pillow fort in the living room, and just relaxed. It was one of the best days we'd had since she moved in. She even fell asleep halfway through the last movie, her head resting on my shoulder. I didn't move for hours, not wanting to wake her. As the weeks turned into months, Sarah started to settle in. Her nightmares became less frequent, and she started eating more regularly. We celebrated small victories, like the first time she asked for seconds at dinner or when she aced her math test at school. Each step forward felt monumental. Our relationship was growing stronger. She started to share bits and pieces of her life with me. Stories about her friends back in her old neighborhood, her favorite teachers, even some of the tougher times. She told me about her mom, too. It was clear she loved her despite everything. I never spoke ill of her mother. I knew it wasn't my place. Instead, I focused on being there for Sarah, building a new life for her, brick by brick. One evening, as we were sitting on the porch, watching the sunset, Sarah turned to me and said, "I'm glad I'm here." It was a simple statement, but it meant the world to me. I put my arm around her, and we sat there in silence, just soaking in the moment. Life wasn't perfect, but it was getting better. The more Sarah opened up, the more I realized just how resilient she was. She had been through so much, but she was still standing, still fighting. Her strength inspired me every day. We developed new traditions. Every Friday night became pizza night. We'd make our own pizzas, experimenting with different toppings and sauces. Sometimes they turned out great, other times not so much, but it was always fun. We also started going to the community center on weekends. Sarah joined a basketball league, and I volunteered to coach. It was a great way for her to make new friends and for us to bond over something we both enjoyed. Holidays were a bit tricky. They brought up a lot of memories for Sarah, some good, some not so good. I did my best to create new, positive experiences. For Halloween, we carved pumpkins and decorated the house. On Thanksgiving, we cooked a big meal together, each of us taking charge of different dishes. Christmas was the hardest. It was her first one away from her mom. We decided to keep it low-key, focusing on spending time together rather than the traditional festivities. We watched holiday movies, drank hot cocoa, and took the dogs for a snowy walk. It wasn't conventional, but it was ours. As time went on, Sarah started to trust me more. She'd come to me with her problems, her fears, and even her dreams. She told me she wanted to go to college, maybe even become a veterinarian. Her love for animals was evident in the way she treated our dogs, and I could see her passion growing every day. I promised her I'd support her in any way I could, and I meant it. There were setbacks, of course, bad days where old fears resurfaced and progress seemed to stall, but we faced them together. Dr. Thompson continued to be a great resource, helping both of us navigate the ups and downs. He reminded me that healing wasn't a straight path, but rather a journey with twists and turns. One evening, after a particularly tough day at school, Sarah came home in tears. She'd had a fight with a friend, and it brought back a flood of emotions. I held her as she cried, reassuring her that it was okay to feel sad, that it was okay to have bad days. We talked for hours that night, and by the end, she seemed lighter, more at peace. It was moments like these that reminded me of the importance of being there for her, of showing her that she wasn't alone. Spring came, and with it, a sense of renewal. We planted a garden together, filling it with flowers and vegetables. Sarah took to it with enthusiasm, spending hours outside, tending to the plants. It was therapeutic for both of us, a symbol of growth and new beginnings. Sarah's confidence continued to grow. She joined the school's debate team and even ran for student council. Watching her stand in front of her peers, speaking with passion and conviction, filled me with pride. She was no longer the scared, underweight girl who had come to live with me months ago. She was becoming a strong, confident young woman. As summer approached, we started planning a trip. Sarah had never been on a vacation before, and I wanted to give her that experience. We decided on a road trip, exploring national parks and camping under the stars. It was an adventure we both needed, a chance to create new memories and strengthen our bond even further. Our road trip was everything I'd hoped it would be and more. We hiked through breathtaking landscapes, swam in crystal-clear lakes, and sat by the campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories. Sarah's laughter echoed through the canyons, a sound that filled me with immense joy. She was truly coming into her own, and I couldn't have been prouder. The end of summer marked a full year since Sarah had come to live with me. We celebrated with a small party, inviting her new friends and some of my close ones. It was a day filled with love and happiness, a testament to how far we had come. Reflecting on the past year, I realized how much we had both grown. Sarah had blossomed into a remarkable young woman, resilient and full of potential. I had learned what it meant to be a parent, to love unconditionally, and to fight for someone else's well-being. We had faced countless challenges, but we had done it together. The journey was far from over, but I knew we were on the right path. We had built a life filled with love, trust, and hope. And as we looked toward the future, I knew we could face whatever came our way. Life isn't always perfect, but it's the imperfect moments that make it beautiful. Sarah and I had found each other in the midst of chaos, and together, we had created something truly special. Our story was one of resilience, love, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his daughter. And that, to me, was the most crushingly beautiful ending I could have ever hoped for. Spending more quality time with family is essential for building stronger relationships and creating cherished memories. In our fast-paced world, it's so easy to become distant, missing the connections that matter most. However, dedicating special moments to being together can bridge these gaps, bringing families closer and promoting a deeper feeling of unity. By prioritizing quality time with your loved ones, you open the door to better communication and understanding. Imagine transforming your home into a haven of support and love, where everyone feels valued and heard. Regular family activities, whether game nights, weekend hikes, or simple dinners, can create a rhythm of togetherness that combats the disconnection many families face. These moments become the glue that holds you together, transforming everyday life into a series of precious experiences. Our story today, of a father and his newfound daughter, beautifully illustrates the power of spending quality time together. Despite the challenges, their bond became stronger through shared moments and new traditions. This is the kind of transformation every family can achieve. To help you make the most of your family time, we created an ebook activity guide to strengthen family bonds. 100 activities to build healthy, happy relationships. This comprehensive guide offers practical, easy-to-implement ideas that can fit seamlessly into your daily routine. Whether you're looking to reconnect or simply improve your family life, this ebook gives you the tools you need to create unforgettable memories. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your family dynamics and foster deeper connections. Click the link in the description and in the first pinned comment to purchase our ebook now. Let's embark on this journey together and build a foundation of love and happiness that will last a lifetime. We'd love to hear your thoughts, reactions, and ideas about today's story. Did any particular character steal your heart? Were you nervous about a surprising plot twist? Or perhaps you have your own theories about what might happen next. Whatever it is, don't hesitate to share. Remember to keep all comments respectful and constructive. We value diverse opinions and perspectives. Positive vibes only. Let's spread positivity and encouragement in our community. Kind words can make all the difference. Your voices matter, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say. Let's continue this journey together as we celebrate the magic of storytelling. Thank you for being part of our community.